Hello everyone and welcome back to another painting stream with me, Magic Audio. I decided that today is the day that we can do some more work on this dude here. Probably gonna be working on the blue, as we've sort of worked on the other characters. Sorry for not being able to stream yesterday, but had to pull a 12-hour shift. And when I came back home, I wasn't really feeling up to doing anything, pretty much. I just did. I also have to do some extra work throughout the whole week, which is why I opted for somewhat shorter streams this time around. So I popped in a bit later than usual, and I'll probably quit it after a couple of hours. Still, I did have the itch to do some painting today, and as per the concept of the whole stream, why not put a camera in front of it? Yep. But enough about me. How is everyone doing? Anyone? Yeah, the heat is getting unbearable, which is to an extent lovely. I prefer the heat over the cold any day of the week. By the way, since last stream we had a co-caster, and I fudged around a bit with the settings. Let me know if anything sounds funky, gnarly, or in any way, shape or form strange. Mostly to do with the music, if it's too loud, too quiet. Oh, let me know. And for next time I will know that I should put on the headset immediately, instead of trying to go over the same process as I am with the music, as in just aim the speakers in a different direction and hope that the mic doesn't pick up any of it. Oh, so I really don't want to jinx it, but I think I may have found a somewhat of a workaround for our flickery cam low exposure issue. I might of course just be delusional. That wouldn't be the first or the last time that was the case. So, if it works, great. If not, Itsanev has kindly given me his cam for me to run some tests and find out if this is a general Logitech C922 issue or if it's just with my version of it. Fortunately, as I mentioned, I am putting in a bit more work than usual, so I haven't had time to install the other cam and run some stress tests and find out if it will do the same thing. And someone has a loud engine, sorry for that. And by loud, I do mean loud. This is, so I'm on the third floor, Granted, all the windows are open right now because of the heat, but still, that is 3 floors up that you were able to hear this, and the window that is street facing is that way, right about 2 rooms to boot. So yeah, that was a loud exhaust, probably more than the engine. Still, a minor annoyance. But again, let me know about yourselves. Are you starting your games in Rebel? Has anyone joined Rebel? Is this anyone's first season, whatnot? Let me know. Let's have a good old Blood Bowl chat. Because I am feeling a bit Blood Belly. Finally got around to see the finals yesterday. Championship 1, the minors I haven't had the chance to see, or the lower bracket champion. It was an interesting match. Had fun watching it, and I'm gonna try and catch up with the podcasts, the Rebel podcasts today. I am 1 behind, so I have to check out number 82 and then 83 with the new champion. Not really sure if the clauses for whatchamacallit, non-spoiler whatevers has fallen down, but considering there is already a stream up, well, not a stream, a podcast up with an interview with the champion, I think it's fair enough to announce such things and openly comment on it. So it was a match between Dark Elves and Nurgle. And it was interesting to see. It wasn't what you would call a extremely high level match, but it was a fun watch. There was a few cases in which the dice truly dictated the pace. The Dark Elf player tried to play Bashi, which I always love to see. For some reason, it gets me all giddy. Also, I started announcing the streams in exact hour to start in UTC time. I don't know if this is more confusing, but it gives me the ability to announce it either earlier or later than usual. Hey there, Big in Space. How is it going with you? How are you combating the horrible heat? Any refreshing beverages by your side today, or have you not had the chance? I know, tell me about it. Although it also keeps me in a rather good mood. Alright. Gonna do some painting today. as we've already had a couple of gaming streams, so as usual I am always falling behind on the painting side of things. So I thought I'd put in a short stream just to try and get at least one color done, which hopefully will be the blue. And I'm mostly blabbering on the topic of Rebel and Blood Bowl games in general. Oh, he is a lucky man. It does... Yeah, contrast paints do help dwarves. Nice. Well, there has always been speed painting tips and techniques. That's nothing new, but contrast paints do very much contribute to this. However, I am not a follower of this. Let's call it a school of speed painting. Sort of puts a bit too much pressure on the process. And as I've mentioned multiple times, I do take my time, not only because I paint super slow, but also because I enjoy to just use it as a way of relaxation. And hopefully with consistency I will get a bit faster. But I do agree, contrast paints really flipped the painting process in general. They really give a lot of options. But they do rely on your underpaint, on your under layers. So you do need to put in a tiny bit of work to pretty much only the ones that oh, you mean on the lists? Yeah. So yeah, I did say a couple. Mostly pretty close to what pretty close to what I chose, so not exactly the same. Most people put tackle on one of the linemen instead of the Zerker, which does make sense since it is a bit more controlled, not having frenzy on your tackler. And you can also use him as a tar pit for any dodge piece without fearing to lose one of your positionals, which is always good. What else? I saw some... I only saw 2 Bretonians. Huh. Really? Yeah, come to think of it, it does synergize pretty well with everyone having catch. Well, everyone, all of the knights having catch. Pretty good. Very few, however, have picked Zug. I don't know if you saw the statistics for choosing star players per team. I think that less than half of the Bretonians will have a Mighty Zug build. Oh, they actually use Griff. Wow. What's left of them if they pick Griff? Like, Do they have even less positionals, or do they play with only one or reroll or something? They are up on the Facebook page of NAF World Cup 4, I think was the name. And Thorsten uploads some statistics every other day or so, putting up some quizzes, just some curious trivia. I see, okay, that fills up options. I like that people are actually trying out different stuff rather than sticking to a single optimal build. I like teams that can work in multiple ways. Because then even if you get a mirror, you're still... Yeah, there are more along the lines of curios and trivia rather than truly useful information, but it's fine. And for the Norse, I did look around for some teams. Like I said, most have tackle on their lineman. Yeah, well, Dark Elves do only have, like, I think 2 builds. One with 2 witches and one with just a 1. Depending on whether or not you want to take all 4 blitzers or just 3 of them. And a runner. These are pretty much the only differences. Oh, I think I saw a Dark Elf build with an assassin. Yeah, I saw that one and I was really... Actually, I was glad to see it, because I really don't enjoy the fact that everyone hates the assassins. They might not be the best, most optimal of players. However, they do offer some fun options. And to tell you the truth, not only that, that stab is very useful. Shadowing I haven't had the chance to try, because he usually gets beaten down instead of dodged away from, in my experience at the very least. But yeah, I've had a good run against Chorfs with stab even. Like, if you can get him to not die if he's in base to base, this is a free, safe block, no matter how you look at it. Even if nothing happens. Yeah, but not from Bretonians, I don't think. Or I may be mistaken. I saw it like a couple of days ago. So I might be talking a little bit out of my ass right now. As I mentioned, though, the thing that is most worrying for me is the insane guard spam Like almost every team that can have guard has taken guard. And I think I just saw one other Norse team that had any guard in it, which is very weird. So it would appear that guard is not um, a skill you give to Norse, which is weird, considering their playstyle. They mostly go for yeah, supposedly so. I'm pretty excited to see the full statistics, but I doubt that they will be released before the 30th, because right now there is a time frame for some corrections. I I don't know if it's that weird. Dark elves don't usually take star players. On tournaments. A lot of Amazons, though, have taken Roxana, Dark Nail. Which I consider to be inherently a Dark Elf star player, so this is what triggered me mentioning this. And Underworld teams have picked up a total of 108 star players. So that means A, that there is a hell of a lot of Underworld, and B, that they are running a very heavy star player build. Really? What? Guess they're just gonna hope for pitch clear, which I don't think will be happening all that often. Yeah. But most of them will be picking more than one star player, because I doubt that there are 108 Underworld teams. But again, I gotta say, I like this. I like that there are diverse builds for the same teams, and that people are actually bothering to experiment instead of sticking to someone's idea of the most optimal build, even on a tournament of this size, of this grandeur and magnitude. Yeah, that actually does make some sense. Yeah, maybe Count, who was it? Count whatchamacallit can be used as the vampire, and all the rest will be thralls. Because if you take away the fact that thralls are like AV7, otherwise they are pretty decent. They can carry a ball, they can throw a few hits here and there. Yes, and you do negate that. Oh, so that's what counterbalances that. Still, yeah, when I was thinking about joining the Lineman League in Rebel, I was actually gonna go with Thralls. Oh, definitely. They should be cheaper than human linemen, so that would make them 40k a pop. So you can afford to have a bench and some rerolls and pretty much everything you might want, really. Count Luthor, yeah, that's the one I was thinking about, but as I usually do, my ability to remember names is non-existent. Oh yeah, you get that super vampire for just in case. You don't need to risk your rerolls on him, because he already does have Loner, because that would have been a heavy disadvantage. Like, Loner along with Bloodlust, that would have made him effectively useless, I think. Because you have to throw a 4+ to reroll a 2+, and that's just not good. How much is he? Do you have it in front of you? Whoo! Yeah, that's... He is quite a beast. Yeah, but that would have made it a bit overpowered, I think. May have been a bit much to give him to make him blodge step. And fire, yeah, that's insane. It's true he can't take on a whole team, but I don't think that this is how he is meant to be used. Probably just to blitz around and hold back and wait for the opportunity to maybe make a pass or be the receiver. I don't know. I don't know. I think they use the NEF CRP 6 still. So if she's there, then yeah. I am getting pretty hyped up over the whole thing. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think that they have a policy of accepting every new update on its own. Right. Maybe not. Because they don't use infamous coaching staff or the new inducements, I don't think. Probably... Oh, it will be used. Okay. Suppose, but that by next year they will have already implemented most of the rules. They just need to test things out a little bit, and I'm not against that. Oh, okay. I'm not aware because I don't usually use star players. I like the idea of them. I like when I have the opportunity to put them in. But it doesn't happen as often. Hopefully... Oh yeah. Also, if I had continued with my human spree and picked up humans for the World Cup, I would have taken something too. And I was thinking about it at some point, like I was ready to go human. True. This will be good also with the melon ball that Aurora Rimbo will be setting up. As he also tries to customize the rules so that we would all be incentivized to get star players, which is good. I do like this idea. Yeah, the Star Heavy Rose. What model is that? Ooh, nice. Aha, right. Yeah, a wanker. Funny how we got to talk about the wanker just at the moment where I started painting the crotch area, but let's just not focus on that. Yeah, sure. Of course, that's what we all meant. Yeah. Sure. I watched the Rebel final, so the Super Bowl yesterday. It was a very weird game, but it was fun to watch. It was Nurgle versus Dark Elf, and the Dark Elf coach was a Orc coach by nature, and it was interesting to see Dark Elves being played like Orcs. There is something about playing bashy elves that always gets me giddy. Some reason. He ended up winning too. So now I have to listen to the podcast where he'll have an interview with the admin team. This time around was the only match I watched from the playoffs. Oh yeah, definitely. That being said, the dice were a bit weird, as in Dark Elf armor held really sturdy throughout the game, and it was a weird play. At the same time, the Dark Elves couldn't roll a 2 to save their life. Like, every single time he went for the ball on a 2+, he just snaked it. And they went into overtime. It was weird. Oh, that's CCL. No, Rebel is still with the 4-minute turns, which is why I enjoy it. Yeah, 2-minute turns is a bit little. Like, true that this is supposed to be a championship ladder, and most people would be confident enough to play on 2-minute timers. Just because I'm not doesn't mean it's a decent idea. Oh, so most of the people that yeah, I do understand that completely. This is my third season in Rebel, and every time I tell myself that I will try to go into something else, and it just can't happen. Like even the one game per week sometimes just goes a bit much. Otherwise, it's very unlikely that I would be playing anything at all, Blood Bowl related, unless we, for instance, schedule um, a friendly game to test out something. Oh, still with but it is better, right? You said that after the maintenance, the overall performance did improve. Cool. Oh my, yeah, that's borderline unplayable. It's really weird. Yes, weird why it does that. Maybe the graphics card. I don't know. I can't really say anything without actually seeing the thing in front of me. Sometimes the smallest things affect overall performance. I made the mistake of plugging in my monitor into the built-in graphics card instead of the other one, the gamer one, and that caused severe struggles. I mean, if it's just for Blood Bowl, you shouldn't bother. Like, we can just play live games, or we can always go to Fumble if it gets too bad. Like, there are workarounds for Blood Bowl. I don't think it's the main reason to do so. Also, with the rumors of releasing Blood Bowl 3 next year, that would build the need to have an even stronger PC, and I don't know, we'll see then. Do you think that they will actually release new rules for Blood Bowl? Because that's the main rumor of things. And I just think... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you said it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, me neither. I think this is just an error in translation, and what they actually meant was that Blood Bowl 3 will include the 2016 rule set. Because the words "new" were used, if you ask me, in the conversation. But they actually meant the new rules as in the current new rules, not that they would actually go for a whole new update. But it is only speculations. As far as I know, Andy Davo has been invited for playtesting and every now and again he does tease a little bit of info. About what Blood Bowl 3 will be, or will have. Exactly. I don't think they need to to touch on the rules. Yeah, of course, he is just hinting towards possible changes, mostly because probably they are still in testing stages. It's interesting. I don't think it was particularly needed, but as we have already discussed with the acquisition of Cyanide and Focus Interactive not being a thing anymore, it's gonna be tough. By the way, if you haven't noticed, Focus Interactive is also the publisher for The Surge. And also Knur was working for Focus Interactive. Just some trivia. Hadn't given... Yeah, more money. Although each and every one that has had a chance to speak his mind on the matter would tell you that they just need some updates for Blood Bowl 2, like a few more teams to go in there. But this is a more or less a empty discussion, so nothing is gonna come out of it. We'll just wait, we'll see. Oh, you mean, yeah, that wouldn't be bad, really. It would give more opportunities for more people to play. I really loved what Blizzard did a while ago with the remaster of StarCraft 1. So what they did was they made StarCraft, the original StarCraft, absolutely free to play, and they did release the updated version of, so the remastered version of the original, and they made the two compatible. So if you wanted to, you can, if you wanted to just play the game, you can get it for free and play with everyone, including the people who have actually bought it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Hiding small players behind big guys, that's a big one. So that might be an option to release less dynamic version and a more dynamic version for, let's say, more money or something, but make them compatible so everyone can play with everyone. Which in reality they did that with making the compatibility between Blood Bowl 2 and Legendary Edition. Not exactly the same, but it's close to it. We'll see. There is a lot that can go well, there is also quite a bit that can go horribly wrong with this. Time will tell, as usual. Private leagues would be heavily affected. Rebel, of course, being one of them. And on the topic of the 2-minute turns for CCL, unfortunately, one of the reasons for them to to set it to 2 minutes is the fact that most people currently watch streamers go through CCL for 2 minutes, and streamers prefer to have 2-minute timers so they can play more games within a stream, and so that they can concede farm. Oh yeah, the DLC path. I mean, if Cyanide is developing it, I don't think that they will go through that. They might go the same way they did with the original 2, as in add a few teams by default and then get the other ones as DLC. And in reality, I wouldn't mind if they just released every team. Yeah, I know. How's this, however? If they release a base game with no teams in it, or one that you can choose, and then you would buy the other teams, but the game with the one team would be significantly cheaper than it was than Blood Bowl 2 was on release. Because it was about, what, 40, I think it was $40 on release? Back in 2000, what was it, 15? $14? Was it 2000? Yeah. 15, yeah. Ah, yeah, it was 4 years ago, so not... I knew there was a 4 somewhere in there. And I remember they came out... Oh yeah, sure. I wouldn't buy it day one either. I don't think anyone should buy games day one nowadays, because they require at least a couple of weeks to fix some game-breaking bugs that usually get through quality control. There's literally no point in getting a game day one. Also, with digital distribution, almost every platform has sales and discounts and coupons and all that shebang. Like, buying full price nowadays is useless. It's just a waste of money. But if that was the case where Because there is always a big discussion about what should the starting teams be. And I think that if they manage to squeeze in to prepare all the teams before release, and okay, maybe it shouldn't be one team, maybe give them 3 teams. But you can pick and choose which ones you want to start off with. Because 3 teams... Yeah. It was, by the way, the pre-ordering thing, not to pre-order in somewhat. If you remember me mentioning Total Biscuit, he was the one who advocated it very, very strongly, never to buy, never to pre-order games. Sadly, as already mentioned, he has passed away. But that was one of his leading campaigns. Yeah. Star Citizen, yeah. Kabuki. I think I only ever pre-ordered one game, and it was Space Hulk. It came out around that time, so again 2014 or 2015. That was the only game I pre-ordered, and I'm not overly happy about what I got for it. I mean, I got exactly what it looked like, which was an almost carbon copy of the board game, which was cool, but as a video game, it was boring. It was very boring. But it was a very, very faithful representation, and it worked in that way. Yeah, such things have happened quite a bit lately. I seem to remember the... what was the game called? No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky followed pretty much big controversy on that matter as well. It was released with almost nothing, and promises were extremely over-exaggerated. And then, of course, the manager said that these weren't really promises. Started bullshitting his way out of this. But yeah, although it got better after a while. So I think that about a year after its initial release, they got the first patch in that made most of the things better, and recently they had another patch. But still, who would wait for 2 years to get a game working that has already been released? Like, you either do it on day one or you're done. That's not how you market your product. But still, crowdfunding I have a bit more tolerance for, as opposed to big corporate, big company pre-orders. Hey, Tanif, how you doing? How's it going? Me and Big in Space were just discussing the nature of video game pre-orders and crowdfunding video games and whatnot. So if you have had any recent or... Oh, okay. I'm doing the same. Just getting along. No pre-order. Yep. Same here. Don't remember if I pre-ordered XCOM though. Maybe. Yeah, but that's just what I'm saying to Pig in Space. So crowdfunding works on a bit of a different level as pre-orders, I think. And I personally have a bit more tolerance towards Kickstarter things and crowdfunders rather than big development companies, pre-order and day one DLC and all that shit. Because it's not exactly a pre-order when you fund something and when you pledge something on Kickstarter. That being said, whenever I see a big company have a Kickstarter for something, it does get me a little bit mad because that is focus group testing, which they have the budget for marketing. They don't need to go through crowdfunding. Like, it's not okay. Okay. Oh. A bit of a stretch. I haven't missed anything, have I? Did you check out any undead teams builds for the World Cup? Did you see something unusual or weird? Because we were discussing this at the start. Standard all the way. Oh, you don't care. Okay. You just let it be a surprise at the event itself, yeah. Me, the only thing I noticed was that most Norse teams either don't take guard at all or just take one guard, which was strange considering the overall guard spam I noticed for the other teams. I'm not too much off the general build. I think I sorta got it. Most do use the Yeti though. I don't remember seeing another team without the Yeti. But anyway. By the way, my next match for No Yeti. I think so. I mean, there are points for either, but my whole idea for this one was take a team that is reliable and make it more reliable. So get everything blocked out and skip the Yeti so you don't have a blockless blitzer even with the claw. You can have the argument that Frenzy isn't at all safe, but you can keep it under control. On the downside, that will mean that it will be much more apparent when I play poorly, and I will have a lot less opportunities to blame the dice on my downfalls. But then again, it is what it is. So yeah, my next Rebel game will be on Tuesday against the Amazons that I showed you yesterday. So if it sounds interesting to either of you, I will be making an announcement for that. It'll be pretty late though. I think we will be starting at maybe at 10 local. Let me take a look to see. He wrote me today at some point. Oh, and we have a recap today. That's nice. Yeah, so Tuesday at 19 UTC. So that's at 10 local in the evening. Pretty late. But by that time I will be off work, meaning Wednesday is my first day off, and I will be on vacation until the 9th of September, starting next Wednesday. Sadly though, this means that until then I will need to put in some extra hours of work, which have gotten me pretty tired and anxious a little bit, but I'll just soldier on through. There are like only 3 working days until then, so I'll make it. This is why I couldn't stream yesterday. I had to put in a 12-hour work shift to start cleaning up some stuff, preparing. And when I came home, I was just blasted. Like, I couldn't do anything. Couldn't even remember to get the Rebel podcast out. Give it a listen. Yeah, I am a project assistant in a company, so mostly administrative stuff that I need to do, and some reporting from different systems, data crunching, filing, things like that. But they pile up, and most of the work comes through in an unscheduled way, as in someone just realizes that something needs to happen, probably yesterday, so everything is always super urgent. No one considers whether or not you actually have the technical time to make things. And this leads to overtime, which unfortunately isn't paid. But if I'm to have a calm and relaxing time during my vacation days, I need to get this done. And although I am calling it a vacation, I already have about a dozen chores I need to take care of. So it's not really gonna be all rest and relaxation. But it's still gonna be good, like. And it will give me opportunities for some bigger, longer streams. I will put in I'll create the polls for the next things to do, as I've already mentioned multiple times. I will do some things, like, it'll be good. I'll need to watch over my parents' cat, as they will be traveling during that period. Which is fine, I love that cat anyway. So any chance I get to see him is always a good experience. Oh yeah. I can also play around with my setup so that I wouldn't need more stretching. Improve my working conditions a little bit, so to speak. We'll see how it works out. Also, we can finally hire a monkey. You know, you're saying it soft, and at the end of the day, I might just do something stupid like that. Also, we will get a chance to play a few games of Necromunda with Itan. I don't think I'll be able to get the Warcry band ready, but certainly some Necromunda is on the table. So there will be a lot of good stuff happening. I just need to survive until then. It'll be fine. By the way, Itanif, how are you coming along with the team, with the undeads? You haven't shared any progress updates recently, so if you have anything. Oh yeah, I'll definitely tell you when you schedule the game. Although as it will be the first game of this type, you can imagine it'll be mostly just reading rules and getting things wrong, as one does when you start a game. By the way, guys, if the music is too loud or too low, please tell me, because after... I don't know if I managed to fix the settings after the last stream we had. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh yeah, if the music is, if the volumes are in any way disturbing, disrupting, let me know. Uh, Alright. Here on the boots, I made the transition a bit rougher than I wanted. Hopefully I'll be able to tone it down a little bit with the wash. Yeah. Are you talking about the first edition? 'Cause I think I had a demo game for second edition, and it was pretty easy to get in. But it may have been the first one that was the weird one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, um, this was what used to happen when I was playing with some friends. We had a small group of people where we used to just play in my at my place, just a couple of guys and their girlfriends, and that was always the case. So the game had to stay with me, and I had to learn all the rules and then teach them, and it really wasn't all that fun. Great, great. Yeah, at least they did have the rules, because once again, as I mentioned, we did talk with you about StarCraft, the board game. So that was one of the examples where I had to learn all the rules and then teach everyone how to play. And it was a chore. Because that is one hell of a complex board game. Awesome game, but really complex. And we tried the worst thing ever, which is to start learning the rules as we play. As in, just give it a go by. Without the expansion, why? The expansion added quite a bit of cool stuff. I really don't hate the expansion. Like the hero characters and the whatnot. It was really cool. The stupid thing was that we never played scenario victory. We always tried to just table each other. Yeah, yeah. When we got into the game, it was already out of stock, and it was very hard to find it. So I believe that this should have been the end of its life cycle. And when you try to play it like that for tabling people, and when there's 5 guys playing the game, I think it took us 13 hours to get through a single game. But good times, definitely good times. I do still have it around, so if anyone's up for it, we can have a sleepless night trying to get through one mission of it. Awesome, yeah, we could do that. Although 3 players was a bit weird, because usually what happens is 2 guys just gang up on the third one. Still, it'd be nice to check it out. Alright, okay, that's not... It's not a problem, I think. Don't think I ever tried the scenarios. And I should see if I managed to print out the... there was some FAQs on the rules that were pretty critical for some things. Yeah, and considering that they're done, like, not randomly, but close to random. Planet placement. Oh man, this really brings back memories, the thought of this game. Yeah, how long was it? I think I last played it like 5 years ago. Maybe more. Maybe more. I think so, yeah. And they were secret, if I'm not mistaken, so you don't even know... Yeah. No, I agree with you, so if we play it, racial victories won't be a thing. And if we want to ever finish the game, I also suggest to have the option to win by command points, because otherwise it really will be a full night's experience. What's this? What the hell is this? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Nice. Oh no. Nice. Is it like a blog thing? 'Cause I haven't seen this website. Yeah, I'll check them out. I'm just blending this down because again... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, I remember hearing about it. Never really had any access to it, but... The name definitely strikes. Yeah? Oh, really? Nice. As in you were reviewing any new entries, or were so submissions by other people, or did you just need to actually write and create all of the new stuff, or both? Either way, that's pretty big. Nice, good for you. Really? Wow. When was that? Like, still, that's pretty impressive. Nice. Do you know if the game still has a player base? Because literally, actually, beyond the name be sounding um, remotely familiar, I can't really say much else about it. Well, still, that shouldn't be an issue, like... I see, I see. Yeah, I imagine it would be difficult to start. Start making local games. I have a couple of friends that actually do make board games for a living. And they are trying very hard to have their games translated and actually sell them in other countries, because here it's very hard to get anything done, and their games are pretty fun, like very creative. No, that doesn't. No, no, no. No, they got into it like a few years ago, like 3 years ago maybe. So relatively recently. But they have put a lot of thought and effort into it. Whoa! Serious? I think actually they mentioned him to me as they were trying to engage him with helping them on something, or were they giving him advice? I can't remember, but yeah, I think the name did come up last time I saw them, which was a few months ago maybe. Vermin Games. I don't know. Right, yeah, maybe that's the person, but I don't know. Either way, they usually go to game expos and so on, so if anything comes up, I will actually share that info with you if you're curious to meet them and see the games that they're working on. Cool, alright then. Ay, ay, ay. True words. Though. Question is, do I want to screw everything up and make this even brighter? What would you say? Do you want it even brighter, extreme highlight at the top? Or is it enough? Yeah, I kind of feel like there's no need. Let me check what I've done for the last ones, because I do remember going one layer higher. Let me just take a mini and see what I've done. They're actually pretty much the same. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go any higher than that. Yeah, battle scratches, like I said, I want to get them done as they are right now, just so I can... worst case scenario, I don't have the time to completely finish them up. I will still have a decent-ish done team. And then I will start over the varnish and put in some bonus stuff on them. Like painting the jewels on the elves, and maybe thinking about getting some tattoos in and some battle scratches and so on. So far though, I just want to be sure that I get things done and ready. And then I can play around with effects. Yeah, basically, factory defaults. Well, if I get the time, I might start doing them before. But I kinda doubt it. Which is sad, because that's where the painting competition will be, but... Because it is like 12 minis, and I don't really have any experience with making battle damage. The closest thing I've ever done was some dry brushing on the human team, which now that I look at it looks disgusting. Like, it's just bad. Hopefully, thankfully, it's over a very bright blue, so you can't really see it unless you look very close onto their armor, but it looks bad, like bad, because I didn't give it any background and I just dry brushed metallic paint over the edges of the armor after painting it. No, it didn't look good. So it's better to go simple but know what I'm doing rather than punch it all up. But you never know what's gonna come over me. I'm pretty happy with how he is coming along though. Why do I still have the idea that I did put... Yeah, there is a layer over that. Oh yeah, definitely there is a brighter layer there. But I think I'll leave it like that. I'll just put in some shade. To enhance enhance the shadowy areas, and the blue will be done, which will leave me what, the browns and the metallics. Wow, so this is getting along much quicker than I thought. And I might play with the hair a little bit more. Like put another dry brush and go over it with the blue wash again. And then it's just the metallics. But yeah, that'll be good. That'll be fine. First weekly recap will be up in a while, so I'll watch it, see what Chubstep has to say for my abysmal performance against Nurgle. No, it wasn't. Maybe someday I will learn how to play this game. Maybe someday. Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry that really doesn't apply to you, considering, what was it, 13th on the individual rankings on the Euro Bowl? Like, come on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's kind of important. Play to your strengths. No. You're consistently a good player, and this has been proven over and over again. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve, but meaning that we, this is a completely different level. Still though, with the practice, I hope things will improve for all of us. Right, let's get to the shade so we can get this buddy done. Well, one step closer to being done, that is. Alright, so the legs the boots, the feet, I'm gonna cover up entirely. Because they got a little bit brighter than I would have wanted them to be. I'm just gonna bring the whole thing down a little bit. I am going with pretty thinned out shade. As I am going over the whole surface, I don't want it to stain too hard. I just want to create a good effect of highlight getting brighter towards the top of the mini. I'll just catch a little. Oh, that's too thick. Also, thinning out the shade with water, if I haven't mentioned that before, it makes the shade dry out faster. Means you can apply more layers more quickly. Because the water evaporates faster than the medium, and it brings the entire drying time down. Still goes on a bit too thick. Maybe it'll light out as it dries. And I will be taking of the unthinned one for the panel lining. to separate the details. And maybe enforce the deepest recesses. I have come to really like this brush for highlighting and detailing purposes. It has really made my life easier. 'Cause I was kind of on the fence when I started using it. It's been a godsend. Also, it made the eyes and face painting a lot easier. And I don't really feel the paint drying so badly as I usually do on smaller brushes. Although that may just be bias from my side. But I do feel having a bit more control over things. Especially with layering. I've actually managed to do some pretty decent transitions with water alone, which is my ultimate goal for, let's say, personal development in terms of painting. Not to rely on glazing mediums so much. And of course, for things like this panel lining, it's just enormously helpful. You carry the world upon your shoulders, for I'm not the only one. How could you look behind now when everything is done? Oh, you carry the world upon your shoulders, for I'm not the only one. How could you look behind now when everything is done? It definitely helps out. And I'll take some of the diluted one and just take these little bits and pieces here, just like that. By the way, I think that it is already okay for me to say it without the fear of jinxing it, but I am quite confident that I managed to finally resolve the camera flickering issues. Which makes me very happy. There's no guarantee that it won't come back, but The cam has been stable for the entirety of the stream. And the fix was very unintuitive. Like, it made literally no sense to me. And it happened by accident, of course. Why wouldn't it? But if that's how it's gonna work, then I have no problem with this. So if we make it through a couple of streams without a hitch, I'm actually gonna tell you exactly what happens. Well, if you're interested, I can tell you right now, but this side of things isn't the most interesting topic. So the issue was with the exposure, as I initially thought, and the solution was, although the exposure settings are set to automatic, you need to flick it to manual, punch it all the way to the top, so to make the brightest possible exposure, and then click and then activate the automatic exposure so that it automatically brings it down, but it needs to bring it down from a higher level, which makes literally no sense, because the whole concept of using automatic exposure is to not have to manually adjust it. Which is why I'm saying that it's really not intuitive. And it happened completely by accident, as I was just playing around with the settings. I think it was the last painting stream. Yeah, it's very strange. Because let me show you actually, because I may not be explaining it in the best possible way. Right, can you see? You can see, so this is actually the properties window. And here is the problem, the exposure. So usually it works, as you can see, it is set to automatic, but by default the setting looks like something like this. And it is an automatic, but the slider is somewhere around the middle. And that causes the strain on, because it's probably trying to bring it down from this point, as opposed to bring it down from the absolute top. And there was literally no reason why this would be the case. Also, why the zoom is on 200 and something, considering it can only go up to 120, is beyond me. Oh yeah, it makes no sense, but if it works, why bother with it? Works. And now as I fudged about with the settings, it'll probably go to shit again. But there is. I would need probably just a few more minutes, or I'm done with what I want to do today. So there should be no problem. Yeah, look at this panel lining, is such a breeze to do with this brush. So happy. I will probably need to do a couple of little touch-ups next time when I get to see how it looks after drying completely. But I think it's on the right track. Okay. I haven't missed anything obvious. Cool. Oh, and right on time. Excellent. Granted, that was 2 hours for a single color, but I think it was worth it. I like working with blue. Blue is a very easy color to work with. Transitions happen easily. Pigmentation is strong, so you don't need to worry about the color breaking apart. It's a good color. It's a pleasurable color to work with. Unlike the white that we have already discussed, right, Eitanef? adorable chalky white. Yeah. But the blues are solid. Like the ultramarine color set, the 3 layers of blue are solid. The red is also pretty good, I think. At least the base. The layers not so much, but the base red, the Mephiston red is really good. Most bases actually are pretty solid as colors. If only they were in dropper bottles instead of these weird pots. But I have already complained enough on this topic. So I will try to squeeze in another short stream like today's tomorrow. Just try and tackle the brown, so the letters here on the boots and this big old strap, and underneath the gauntlet, which should probably, oh yeah, and the little fang things on his necklace. This should be doable in a short while, which will probably be the last non-metallic things I do on this guy. So probably in a couple of streams he should be ready to go. Which also means I need to start priming the other guys. Only thing I'm not all too happy with is this leg here, as the wash did go a bit heavy and yellowed out a bit too hard for my liking. Although I have my doubts for actually going back to fix it at this point. But it's for another time. Alright guys, well, that'll be it from me for tonight. Thank you for joining. I wish you luck with all of your endeavors in this evening and beyond. Have a lovely night. Hopefully I will be able to stream tomorrow as well. Until then, I again urge you to keep loving what you do and doing what you love. And I've been Bachacolio, signing out. Good night.